So many companies take venture capital money and they don't succeed. They actually are amazing failures. And there's headlines about, oh, this company raised 100 million, 200 million and failed. That is so bad. But actually, that is by design. Let me explain this to you. When you invest your money in equities or in an index fund or in a bond, you have two goals. One is capital growth and the other is downside protection, which basically means that you want your money to grow, but you also don't want to lose the money that you invested in a good scenario. In venture capital, the expectation is that at least 1/4 of your companies will fail and go to zero, but some of your companies, usually maybe 1, 2, or 3 of companies, actually get to a point where they're delivering 1000x or similar return to you. Venture capital is not the business of making every investment work, but actually it is the business of making some investments return 1000x or an astronomical return on some. Why does this work? Think about this in a very simple way. You have a venture capital fund. Let's say it's a $400 million fund. You have about an average check of 15 million and you make 20 investments. So that's about 300 million. And then you keep about 100 for reserves, which are to participate in future rounds and also for fees. So out of those 20 investments, typically 1 or 2 investments will be fund returners. Now, how does that actually work? Think about it this way. You made 20 investments of 15 million at a 75 million valuation. Let's just assume that means you got 20% of 20 companies for 15 million each. If and when these companies actually become 4, 5, $10 billion companies, the value of an investment grows accordingly. In this case, for the investment to be a fund returner, you will need 20% to be 400, which basically means that the company needs to be valued at 2 billion. So if any of the 20 companies that you invested in gets valued at 2 billion after a few years, and assuming that you're able to hold on to that 20%, you will be able to return the fund, and that will become a fund returner investment. So when a lot of VCs invest, they think about, can this be a fund returner? They're not thinking about capital protection. And which is why when you go to a VC and you say, I want you to invest money in my business, this is a safe business, you keep investing in risky businesses, why do you invest in this risky business? That is actually not a good thing, because the business of venture is to invest in risky businesses that will deliver an outsized return and ideally be fund returners many times over.